$2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month, then guess what? Yeah, you just have a big mess, you know, because you don't want to invest with people who don't have an understanding, right? You know, you put the 50,000 in, you know, like the gentleman said on tape, put the 50,000 in, and then next week they be like, I think I want to get about 100,000 of mine back. You see, because that's why it's called cash, asset, cash. It takes cash by an asset. Now it's going to take some time for that asset to bring you some more cash. And see, now you start wealth building in your family. You see, because you get one hotel, right? And then you use the cash from that one to get what? Another one. And now you're owning and building a part of America. See, we don't have to be cheerleaders. And nothing wrong with being a cheerleader, you know, in terms of the game and stuff like that. But in this thing called capitalism, you don't want to be a cheerleader. Warren Buffett, all Warren Buffett does in his investment, all he has done for 50 years is buy America. Just buy America. You see, it's like a ship that's on the water. If you come to Atlanta, you know, it's like you go down to Wells Fargo and you can put $1,000 in the bank. They give you, you know, 2%, whatever on the CD. Or you can buy $1,000 worth of Wells Fargo stock. Or Bank of America, or any stock. Does that make sense? Now you're not just making a percentage on your money, you're making a percentage on everybody's money in the bank. That's called capitalism. That's called leveraging. Does that make sense? Now, where does MyEcon come in there? What can we do with MyEcon to help you do that? Number one, we're going to educate you on money. By educating you on money, that's going to give you the ability to manage money and keep some of the cash that you're making on your job. But then MyEcon is going to give you the ability to create some money. What do I mean by create some money? You know, I'll give you an example. You know, a lot of people have been talking about Dr. Dre with the beats, music, and Apple, and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, but I want you to look at that deal, okay? He stayed focused. You have to have something that gives you some cash. Okay? See, that's what I use network marketing. I'm really a finance guy, but I use network marketing over the last 35 years to get me some cash. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because you can trade your knowledge or your service for something to get the cash, okay? See, if you go out in this business and you have 7 people realize that they got a mistake on their W-4, and that they would be more beneficial if they were writing off their car and their cell phone, their internet access, and meals and entertainment, and travel, and all that stuff. Now, just by showing them that, they said, yeah, I want to do that. I need a home-based business. They're doing MyEcon. You're making some checks, right? Right. Now, if you can use that to generate cash, you got the first part of cash, asset, cash, right? Right. Now, all you got to do is take that cash and decide what assets you're going to buy. Right. And you start off with small assets. I've been studying Warren Buffett for probably 20 years, 20, 25, maybe 30 years. They started off buying little things like a furniture store, buying stocks in little companies. Now, they buy whole companies. And see, I want you to get that vision. See, I want you to get the vision that maybe the next 5 years, your goal is to get your $50,000 free and clear. Some of you already surpassed that. Or maybe to get you $100,000 or $200,000 free and clear. Now you put yourself in a position that you can get with 10 people and buy an Applebee's or a Chili's or a McDonald's or whatever it is you're going to buy. Or apartment complex.
All right now.
Right, you got that? Right. But now 10 years down the road, you might have $1 million or $500,000 that you generated from building your business, getting some more cash. You see people say, well, why are you still out here recruiting? Because I want some more cash. It's something I want costs a lot of money. And I'm gonna give you guys a little secret. Nobody knows this about me, but Alvin, you know, and my wife. You know, one of the things I want to buy is I got to buy a house for MyEcon. Now let me tell you how MyEcon house looks. It looks about 75-story house. In a major city with a big MyEcon logo on top. It costs about $100 million. So I got some stuff to buy. You see, we just not out here just playing around having fun. You see, like when I was 25, I wanted to buy a car. It's good fun. Buy your car, have some fun, right? Then about 28 to 30, I want to buy a house. Then 35, I want to buy a bigger house. Well, now I want to buy a big house for MyEcon. So we say, well, where's the headquarters of your business? It's down there, man. Well, how I get to it? Just drive anywhere down there. You see it? Capitalism, right? And it gets bigger and bigger, and the people in your downline, and the people you're networking with, the people you're seeing here today, and the people you're going to meet at night, those are going to be your future business partners, not only just in building your MyEcon business, but in building your investment portfolio. Let me tell you something I saw years ago. I used to live in Tacoma, Washington, just south of Seattle. Okay? And it was kind of a really rundown part of town down on Pacific Highway. And there was nothing there, but I used to go down there all the time, going through that area. And every Saturday night, I'd see this little restaurant, this little Korean restaurant, and it would be one light on, and it'd be 18 cars. I see that year after year after year. Well, after some years, you started to see that whole area, all the signs, all the businesses were Korean. The restaurant, the coffee center, the office building, everything in that whole area. See, they started with nothing, but they became business partners. Then they became investment partners. They built assets. That's how you grow in capitalism. You see, where MyEcon is important is you can't invest with people who don't have a financial education. Because they don't understand the process. And they'll mess up your investment portfolio. Because they're not willing to. It's like I tell people all the time, if you had a milk cow that was giving you milk every day and then you were selling the milk and get some cash, when would you kill the cow and eat it for meat? Never, because you got, right? It's the same thing if you planted something, if you had some apple seeds, something as simple and small as apple seeds, and you planted them. 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, you got lots of apple trees. You got apple orchards. Now you can sell the apples and get the cash. Year after year after year after year. That's wealth building. You see, one of the big things that happens, people will try to tell you and convince you, especially my generation and older, because that's the environment we came from, because that's what we were taught. Well, you got to have money to make money. Well, you got to have, but that's not really true. Because God gave us all some skills and talents that will allow us to make the first money.
Yeah.
All you got to do, I hate rap music, but I love rappers. Sound like it's beating on pots and pans, that's not business, right? But they took a simple talent that cost them nothing.
Yes. Right.
Recorded it, sold it, got some cash, did that for a while, took that cash and started to buy part of America. And now they're in every factory of this country.